Cougars, Cora Castellani hits a double. Abby Call crushes one deep to left. That ball is gone. Home run, Valley View, 2-0. Haley Copanetti wins, fire, strike free. That's her weight, strike out of the game. Ava Hazelton dealing today. Another ground out, she's done it, a no-hitter. Holy Cross Sabres make it 10 strikeout. Win league championship over Mid-Valley. Lakeland's Cameron and Near steal second. She saved Abington's Adriana Conrad rounds the bases after a home run. Wow, what a hit! And Kate Reynolds rips one into the gap. She's flying around second, heading for third. Triple for Riverside. Cross the diamonds of North Fifth and Pennsylvania, where River East run deep, where championship dreams are built, and the next generation of softball stars rise. This is where the stories are told. From walk-off wins to dominant pitches, to the players rewriting the record books. From Division I battles with Valley View, Abington Heights, and North Pocono, to Division II powerhouses like Holy Cross and Mid-Valley, to the Division III contenders fighting every inning. Elk Lake, Blue Ridge, Montrose, and beyond. This is the show that brings the energy, the highlights, and the voices of the game. Hosted by Jeric, Yurkanin, quick ball, powered by Agape Freedom Media, LLC. This is Napa Chronicles.
Yay! Softball season's right around the corner. My name is Jeric. I'm your host, and this is the Hail Mary Show. I know in the song it said Napa Chronicles, but we're all together. So, yeah, thank you for joining us. Today we have some great things to talk about. We're kicking off something special as we officially begin Agape Freedom Sports 2006 softball campaign. On today's show, we're breaking down our top 10 countdown in the Lackawanna Conference heading into the new season. These rankings are based on last year's results, returning players, pitching depth, and the overall talent each team's bring back on the field. And I'm going to pause here for a moment. I am outside. It is chilly. This is where I'm going to be recording these podcasts. I'm so pumped for this season. This is my backyard, Jessup, Pennsylvania. It's not so beautiful. It's windy. It's 41 degrees. Last week it was much warmer, much better softball weather. Hopefully within the next week or two, when the season's going to be opening up, regular season, it will be warmer this year. So District 2 softball has become one of the most competitive areas in Pennsylvania, and every year we continue to see more and more talented players coming out of this region and going on to play at the collegiate level. Along with our top 10 countdown, we'll also reveal our All-Conference Agape Freedom Sports players to watch this coming season. These are the athletes expected to make big impacts this season. Players who bring elite pitching, powerful bats, strong defense, and leadership to their teams. Throughout the show, we'll break down the teams, talk about key returning players, discuss which programs can make serious post-season runs, and highlights the athletes who could have breakout seasons. So whether you're a player, a parent, a coach, a simple fan, District 2 softball, you're in the right place. Let's get the season started. So this is the Hail Mary Show. It's time for Agape Freedom Sports Countdown. We're going to be doing later on the show. We're going to, again, share all-conference softball players preseason. And then today we have a special guest, one of the top coaches in the area, in my opinion. You know, there's very few good coaches that really made impacts with their teams and made runs in state playoffs in the area the last few years. We're bringing on Holy Cross Crusaders head coach Joel Ross. Last year, his team made it into the state playoffs. They sadly lost, which was unexpected, but they did win the District 2 championship, and they did win the conference last year. This year, they have some returning players. They could make a run this year, and I think they're going to be a pretty good team. So we're going to be bringing him on, and we're going to talk about the top teams in the conference this year. We're going to talk about top returning players and different things like that. But I'm excited to start this show. Hope you are, and I hope you love softball just as much as I do. Got my Penn State gear on. I'm a Clemson softball fan, but I support area softball players that go on to play in colleges and big name colleges for sure. Like Kylie Kowalski, she made her first start on the field this week with Penn State Knitted Lions, and I expect her to make an impact. She is kind of starting off slow than expected, but it takes time to grow, and she's only a freshman, so there could still be some nerves there. But I expect her to eventually break out and have some very good games this year and be a key player for the Knitted Lions. So again, my name is Jeric Yurkanin. So let's bring on Holy Cross Crusaders head coach Joel Ross. Welcome to the show, Coach Joel Ross.
Thank you, Eric. Thanks for having me. Thrilled to be here.
Thank you for joining us and taking your time out of your day.
You're welcome.
First off, looking back at last season, your team finished 21-2, went 14-1 in conference play, and made a run all the way to the state quarterfinals. When you reflect on that season now, what stands out the most about that group and what they were able to accomplish?
It really my players. The fact that when you get around, we had a special group last year. We had some that dealt with some adversity, both physically as well as competitively. To get them to buy into a philosophy that the team matters, to then go out and compete the way we did, and then have everything stop when we lost in the Claysburg Kimmel in the state tournament. I'm very proud of the way they handled themselves and the way they handled adversity throughout the season.
Most certainly. They were one of the top teams in the area, very competitive, and I believe they did. They matched up well against some of the top teams in the area.
Yeah, and like at Holy Cross, we've been fortunate with some of the success we've had, and we're very, very committed to the principles to what's important in extracurricular activities. And like our standard is high coming into the program, and the bar is not going to be lowered, so they have to meet that. And we do some things that I think set us apart from other programs or organizations. But the work ethic that it requires to play in our program is really something that I'm proud
of. When younger players come into the program, how hard or how do you sell your standard to them?
So you get. I'll start going on. I'll probably run out past your time limit now. So I believe today, and as long as I'm coaching, I'll consistently state this, that even in today's society, players want structure and discipline. And I think that we do that, and we give them that in practice. They want to be treated well, but they want structure and discipline. And I think what happens, and one of the reasons that other than talent that our program is successful, is because our players learn that when they're freshmen and sophomore, whether they're playing or not playing, we usually have really strong leadership from our upper class. And that's kind of the torch is passed kind of year to year. In preparation for this year, one of the things that we're really focusing on is have Ava Schmidt, who's our returning pitcher and is a dominant pitcher and a great athlete and just as good as a person. We're trying to get her to be a little bit more vocal and ascend in that leadership role, because that's critical, not only for this year, the 2026 success, but also to build for the future, because the main thing matters, and the main thing is the team and the program.
Most certainly, leadership definitely is important. What I learned at my year when I worked at the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders as a groundskeeper in 2022, that they actually bring on experienced players that a couple years of experience in the major leagues, and they bring them on down to the triple A to kind of be a leader and teach some of the younger players that they're developing.
Yeah, without a doubt. And like in today's world, with everything being instant gratification and with social media and the impact that has specifically on high school students, there has to be some consistency. And when you throw out everything else, the value of high school sports, or one of the many values of high school sports, I should say, is it provides an arena that student athletes have the opportunity to compete and learn how to deal with success and failure. So I think one of the things that I'm most proud about of our program, when we win, we play the part and we act responsibly. We respect our teammates, we respect our opponents, we respect the officials, we respect the stands. And when we lose, we do the same thing. Like we're not going to be throwing helmets or complaining or blaming the umpires or pointing fingers at everything. We understand in Holy Cross that our job as a coach is to get our players to compete and accept winning and losing as a byproduct of the competition.
I love that philosophy. It's very important to have that type of philosophy and the players being that disciplined, in sports. So, Joe, looking at your schedule this year, there are always some very competitive games in Lackawanna Conference. What teams on your schedule do you think were present the biggest challenges for Holy Cross this season?
Well, that's kind of a loaded question because the coach in me is always going to say the next game, right?
Yep.
So, one of the philosophies that we try to embed in our players and in our program is that the next pitch matters. So, we'll talk about it in our pregame conversation as we talk. We prepare and we do what we have to do to get ready to play any opponent, but we want to go out and play the game. Nothing different, nothing special. We honestly believe that if we go out, we play hard, we play smart, and we have fun, that the results are going to take care of themselves. So our focus is more internal as opposed to external. That being said, we play in a highly competitive division. Old Forge is very good. Mid Valley is very good. Dunmore is very good. The other teams in our division are all pretty solid. And we make a concerted effort to play non-league opponents that are highly competitive. The three that jump off the page here are Abington Heights, who's a large program that's always successful, Holy Redeemer, who's successful, and this year we added Bristol, who is out in the Philly area. They're out in Delaware County, and they're a perennial state power in AA softball. So, we're thrilled to have the opportunity to challenge ourselves against the best teams in the area.
Yeah, that's definitely a good idea, and I notice more and more competitive teams in the area has been doing that in different sports, which prepares your team when you make a state playoff run. You're going to face similar teams like that, and you're able to prepare mentally and face them and get some practice in, if that makes sense, and will help each team.
Makes a lot of sense. And like the other thing is, we like to go to Bristol because it's a 2-hour ride. Get on the bus, leave school early, get on the bus, drive down there, get mentally prepared to play the game, with the hope that we're going to be doing it come next June as well.
That's an awesome idea. District 2 has become extremely competitive over the past several years. From your perspective as a coach, what has made this area so strong when it comes to developing talented softball players?
Well, I think that you hit it in your question. It's the talent that the kids are bringing to the table. We're seeing an uptick in talent on the softball standpoint, really the past 10, 15. We want all of it. We play another sport with anything else, And we put the effort in to try to maximize each player's individual potential.
How important are youth programs, travel softball, and strong school coaching and helping build the pipeline of talent we're seeing in this area?
Yeah, I think it's critically important, and like I would emphasize with the aspects of your question, I would emphasize the school culture, right? So at the end of the day, we exist in the Holy Cross softball program to provide extracurricular activities embedded in the academic and the curricular functions of Holy Cross. I would like to think that our administration at Holy Cross, specifically Mr. Ben Tallarico, who's our principal, would treat me the same whether I went 21-2 or 2-21, because we get that there's a bigger picture. Holy Cross, being a Catholic school, is a school of choice, and our kids come there, and I would like to believe that they come there for the entire student experience, not just the softball. And softball may be a hook to get them in, but we have a lot to offer from spiritually, academically, and socially to our players in our program. And we're one part of the package. They see that as we go through, with the support from our administration, with the support from our faculty, specifically like Father Edwards, who's the school chaplain, who is just omnipresent at all the athletic events for Holy Cross. It's a special and unique place.
Yeah, all that is definitely important. I think it's a whole package that you need, in my opinion, just to be a good athlete, to be a good student, be good academically, and just be a good human all around. It's definitely important, to be a good athlete and a good student.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that we'll do this year, we're in the early stages of planning like a gratitude day, where I have forced my players to reflect on the people that are important in their lives that allow them to come to Holy Cross and play softball. So we'll do a day and do like a little subtle event through the day, so not to overshadow the actual game. But I think it's critical in today's society that we step back and be grateful for what we are and what we have the opportunity to do.
I love that. I really do. So, we're going to wrap up in a moment here. So, but one more question. When you look around the conference, what teams do you think are going to be very competitive this season? And then what teams do you think could sneak up during the season?
I mean, in our conference, really, obviously, I think one of the nice rivals in softball in our area, it would be Mid-Valley Holy Cross. For years, that's kind of in the circle game that we come out. Old Forge is always an intense rivalry, and that we'll probably meet them somewhere along, if not in the district championship. And then everybody else in our league. I mean, obviously, Dunmore, with the proximity to Holy Cross, there's always the natural that'll be further aggravated by my niece is now the head coach at Dunmore, so that throws a little different nuance into the rivalry. But I've been coaching long enough that I have, I think, a pretty good relationship with all the coaches in our division, and it remains where it's important. The focus should remain always on the players and letting them enjoy the experience of playing high school sports in a competitive environment.
Joe, I've always been a firm believer, at least with the last 10 years, as I had my own experiences running Sopich softball team and researching philosophies that some of the top Hall of Fame coaches in history had. I'm a firm believer in head coaches. A good head coach is someone who, year after year, not winning championships every year, not being the top team, but a team that is always competing, is always competitive, and is always over 500 by the end of the season, and always building and developing players consistently. It's like a pipeline year after year, kind of like what Dunmore Bucks did in football. In this area, softball, I haven't really done too much research because I'm newer to the softball thing. But I do know some great coaches like yourself, like Mia Muskura. She's shown me years on years on years developing players. I heard her philosophy. I heard your philosophy. And I don't know too many other coaches too well, but what's your input on that? I think you need a good coach with good philosophy, good mindset, disciplining the
Yeah.
players. They got to sell that. They have to sell their philosophy to the team, and the team needs to believe in it and trust the coach and believe in the coach. And the coach needs to believe in the players and try to develop the players and get the best out of the players they could. And it works both ways. Talk about that with your experience.
Yeah. First of all, I'm humbled by your kind words there to put me in my name in the group with some of those people. But really, I think it's simple. And I kind of laughed as you were asking the question because this is the point of the practice or the point of the games where my players roll their eyes at me, right? So here's what I think. I think that the job of coaching, regardless of the sport, is to simplify it to whatever you have to do to be competitive. And one of the things that I say ad nauseum in our practices in preparation, getting ready for the season, is the thing that I won't coach is attitude and effort. You have, and these are where we start talking about life lessons in sports, right? There's only two things you can control in this world, whether it's sports or whether it's in life. It's your attitude and your effort, right? How you respond to things, how you deal with success, how you deal with adversity. And the other thing is how much you're willing to work. We have a lot of people that think they work hard, but then when you actually see what other people do, you start to see, yeah, there's a little bit more in the tank that I can look for. So I think that's where it begins and ends with me, is the individual attitude and effort. And I think that it's important to get to our players today to realize that this is something bigger than them, bigger than me as the coach. There's a legacy that's involved here. There's a level of expectation that you do it. And at the end, when you start talking about the actual coaching, the X's and O's, that come in, it's the simplification of everything. And, you refer to the rail riders. If you look at high level college sports, high level high school sports, professional sports, whatever it may be, the one constant is fundamentals. And at the highest level, regardless of the sport, what you want to do is simplify it so you stop thinking and start doing. And that's where I think successful coaches come in. You could call it culture, you could call it practice organization, whatever it may be, but it's the consistency that you provide in the wildly inconsistent sport that I think separates good programs from great programs.
Most certainly, that's very true, Coach Joel. But yeah, I could talk here all day about softball. That's how much I love softball.
You and me both.
It's great, and I'm excited. But yeah, thank you for joining us, Coach Joel. I know you have a busy day ahead of you, and thank you for taking your time out of your busy day.
It's always a pleasure to get an opportunity to talk to you, and we'll look forward to seeing you at St. Anthony's coming soon.
Most definitely. I can't wait. I'll be there on my birthday, April 11th, covering your game.
There you go.
There's no better place to be for my birthday.
We'll have the cake for you, buddy.
Thank you. I can't wait. Have a good day, Joe. Thank you.
All right. Have a great day. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. And good luck on the season. Bye.
Have a great day.
You too. Hi, I'm now inside. I'm going to record the episode, second half of the episode of our top 10 preseason countdown in the Lackawanna Conference. We're only going to be covering the Lackawanna Conference. Occasionally, we'll talk about some teams, athletes in the Wyoming Valley Conference, but it's just me doing the work. Next year, we have some great news. I'm expecting to get more people to help me cover other areas across northeastern Pennsylvania, hoping to get 2 people in the Wyoming Valley Conference to cover softball up near Blue Ridge, Mountain View, Lackawanna Trail, one person up there. I'm going to try to spread out since we're only going to be covering softball mostly anymore. And I'm hoping to hit District 4 and different other districts as well. So we have some good news coming up for next season. But let's focus on this season. Number 10 team is the Wallenpaupack Buckhorns. The Buckhorns finished last season 99 overall. They were a competitive team. Very competitive. Showing that they were competitive and capable of staying in games throughout the year. Wallenpaupack had some strong offensive performances last season as well. As a team, they hit .345 with 125 hits and 82 RBIs. Wallenpaupack softball team had last year, showing the ability to generate offense and keep pressure on opposing defenses. One of the biggest returning hitters for the Buckhorns this year is Decker. Decker had a very strong season at the plate last year, hitting .423 and 11 hits, while also collecting 5 doubles and 2 triples, showing the ability to hit for extra bases and help spark the offense. Another important offensive contributor is Madison Haynes. I know who she is. Haynes. Don't know how to pronounce that name. But I will get better, I promise, and I apologize for this. She hit .395 with 17 hits, giving Wallenpaupack another reliable bat in the lineup, capable of getting on base and creating scoring opportunities. Another key player to watch is Haibu, who hit .378 with 14 hits and 15 RBIs, showing the ability to drive in runs and provide production in the middle of the lineup. In the circle, Haibu also contributed to the pitching staff with a 2.98 ERA and 47 strikeouts, giving the Buckhorns an experienced arm who can help control games. Defensively, Wallenpaupack was very solid last season, finishing with a .928 fielding percentage, showing they can make plays and limit mistakes. And these are the Wallenpaupack players to watch for this upcoming year: Decker, Haynes, and Haibu. Decker is one of the most dangerous hitters returning to the lineup after hitting .423, and she has the ability to generate offense and win both with contact and extra bases. Haynes is another important bat after hitting .395 last season, giving the Buckhorns another player who can consistently reach base and help create scoring opportunities. And Haibu is one of the most valuable players on the roster because she can contribute both at the plate and in the circle. Her ability to hit and pitch gives Wallenpaupack a player who can impact the game in multiple ways. And this is our number 10 team. Wallenpaupack is a team that could become very competitive if their key players continue to produce. If Decker, Haynes, and Haibu lead the offense and the pitching staff continues to improve, the Buckhorns could stay competitive throughout the season and against some of the top teams in the area in their classification. My prediction is that the Wallenpaupack Lady Buckhorns will battle in many games and could surprise a few teams during the season, especially if their offense continues to develop. I would expect them, maybe there's a good chance to make playoffs this year. That's why the Buckhorns came in at number 10 in the Agape Freedom Sports Preseason Lackawanna Conference Top 10 Countdown. But before we continue to our number 9, I would like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. Without our sponsors, we wouldn't be able to do this, and we wouldn't be able to continue doing this because it takes a lot of time and effort to keep this media podcast rolling and help us cover some games. So our sponsors for this season is Andy's Pizza in Main Street in Peckville, Pennsylvania. Definitely check out Andy's Pizza. They have the best pizza. The pizza melts in your mouth. I mean, I ain't kidding. It's one of my favorite pizza places within the area. So definitely check out Andy's Pizza, and we appreciate Andy's Pizza for sponsoring with us. Again, and it's a great place to go. They've been open since 1945, and it's just a great way to go there, relax, grab a couple pizzas, and have a beverage. And another place that took the time to sponsor with us, and they love their sports, is Tasty Freeze. It's an ice cream place in Eining, up on Route 6, Carpenter Casey Highway up there in Eining. Definitely check them out. They have great ice cream. I was just there today with my son. I got a tornado and I got the Oreos. I love it. It's like a flurry. I love my flurries. And I love Oreo. You can't beat it. The ice cream's a little bit different than some others you might get locally, but it's good. Very good. They have a mini golf course in the back as well if you like to golf and you want to bring your son or a couple of kids and you want to spend time together. Great way to bond. Take them back at the Tasty Freeze in Eining, have some ice cream and go miniature golfing when the weather warms up. So we would like to thank Tasty Freeze for sponsoring with us. Coming in at our number 9 team in the Agape Freedom Sports preseason rankings is the Riverside Lady Vikings. The Vikings are a team that could quietly improve this season. I believe it. They're definitely a team to watch. Last year, Riverside finished with a 10-13 overall record and 6-10 in conference play. But there were several bright spots that showed this program as talent compatible of competing. They were a young team last year. They had a few freshmen. So Riverside's not going to be going away. They're just going to get better. Offensively, Riverside had some strong areas in the lineup. Strong hitters in the lineup. As a team, they hit .327 with 179 hits and 159 RBIs, showing the ability to produce runs when the offense was clicking. One of the biggest bats returning for the Vikings is Kate Reynolds. Reynolds had an outstanding season last year as a freshman, hitting .443 with 27 hits and impressive 33 RBIs, making her one of the most dangerous hitters on their roster. She added 6 home runs, giving Riverside a legit power threat in the lineup this year. Another key player for the Vikings is Addison Smith. Now, again, she was a freshman last year, who also had a amazing year at the plate, hitting a .444 with 28 hits and 17 RBIs. Smith proved she can consistently get on base and help drive in the offense. Riverside also had help from players like, in the circle, Smith carried most of the pitching workload last season. She logged over 107 innings with 106 strikeouts, showing the ability to compete and keep hitters off balance. Defensively, Riverside finished with a .870 fielding average, and improvement in that area could make a big difference in close games this season. Now, Riverside lost a few players to graduation, but they're returning a lot of players, a few talented players, and some of the best from last year. So the players to watch for this year definitely has to be 2 players I mentioned, Addison Smith and Kate Reynolds. Smith will be one of the most important players on the team because she contributes both in the circle and the plate. After hitting a .44 last season, leading the pitching staff, she will once again be a key leader for Riverside. Now again, last year she was only a freshman. Reynolds was only a freshman, is another major player to watch after hitting .443 and with 33 RBIs and 6 home runs, giving the Vikings one of the most powerful bats in the conference. Now, I was thinking about ranking them higher, but there's a question mark of how good some of these players can be or will be. So I put them in a number 9. But I think this Riverside team, if they really work hard and step up, I think they could be definitely a team to watch and be to move up the rankings within the first few weeks. So what's my season prediction? Riverside is a team that could make a step forward this season. If Smith continues to lead the pitching staff and the offense gets strong production from hitters like Reynolds, the Vikings could become a much tougher matchup throughout the season. My prediction is that Riverside will remain competitive in the conference and definitely in the division and push for a playoff spot, especially if they tighten up defensively and continue to produce runs offensively, and also if their pitching staff improves on their numbers and really steps up big this year. That's why the Vikings, Lady Vikings, come in at number 9 in the Agape Freedom Sports preseason countdown. Coming in at number 8 in the Agape Freedom Sports preseason rankings is Old Forge. The Blue Devils are a team that proved last season they can compete with some of the best teams in District 2. Old Forge finished the year 10-11 overall and 7-6 in conference play, but that record doesn't fully tell the story of the type of team they were. One of the biggest moments of their season came during the District 2 championship game, where Old Forge battled one of the top teams in the area and the conference champion, Holy Cross, and showed that they could play with the top teams in the area. The experience alone could be valuable heading into this season. Offensively, the Blue Devils return several players who can contribute at the plate. One of the top hitters last season was Lensinski. Hopefully I didn't batter that name. Again, never heard of these names, never really said it before. Don't really know many of these players. It's a new podcast, so please forgive me. I'll try to get better as the season comes along. Who had a strong year hitting a .468 with 22 hits, showing the ability to consistently get on base and help generate runs. Another important bat returning is Arnold, who hit .344 with 22 hits and 13 RBIs, giving Old Forge another solid contributor. And O'Hearn also had a productive season at the plate, hitting .368, 21 hits and 18 RBIs, proving she can drive in runs and be a key part of the lineup. Another player to watch offensively is T. Stanfano, who hit .386 and 17 hits and 15 RBIs, providing additional depth and run production. In the circle, Nodari carried a big workload last season. She pitched over 100 innings, finishing with 10 wins and 62 strikeouts, giving the Blue Devils an experienced pitcher who understands how to manage games. Defensively, Old Forge was a solid team last year, finishing with a .901 fielding percentage, showing that they have the ability to make plays and limit mistakes. Players to watch Old Forge is Notary, Lisinski, and O'Hearn. Notary, again, I hope I'm saying these names right. I'm sorry if I'm not. Will once again be one of the most important players for Old Forge. As a team primary pitcher last season, she gained valuable experience and will likely be asked to lead the pitching staff again. Lisinski is another key player after hitting .468 last season, making her one of the most consistent hitters in the lineup and in the division. And O'Hearn is someone who can make a big impact offensively after driving in 18 RBIs, giving the Blue Devils another important bat in the middle of the order. What's my season prediction? I think Old Forge is going to be competitive. I think they're going to make playoffs. They're a good team. Old Forge is a team that could surprise some people this season as well. After competing well in big games last year, including their District 2 championship matchup with Holy Cross, the Blue Lady Lady Blue Devils know what it takes to compete at a higher level. If Nodari continues to lead the pitching staff, the offense gets production from players like Wyszynski, O'Hearn, and Arnold, Old Forge could be a very tough team to beat. My prediction is that Old Forge will remain competitive in the conference, and especially in division, and fight for a District 2 playoff spot with potential to pull off a few big wins during the season. That's why the Lady Blue Devils, come in at number 8 in our Agape Freedom Sports Preseason Top 10 Countdown. Now we're moving next to a number 8 team. We're heading into a number 7. A number 7 team in the Agape Freedom Sports preseason rankings is the Blue Ridge Lady Raiders. The Raiders are a team that could surprise some people this season. Last season, Blue Ridge finished 8-10 overall and 8-5 in conference play, showing flashes of competitiveness throughout the season. While the record may not jump out right away, there are reasons to believe the Raiders could take a step forward this year. One of the biggest reasons is the return of pitcher Haley Carpenetti. Carpenetti battled injuries last season and missed a few games, which made it difficult for Old Forge to find consistency in the circle. But when she was healthy, she showed she has the ability to compete against some of the strongest hitters in the conference and keep games under control. If Carpenetti can stay healthy this season, she could become one of the most important players, not only for Blue Ridge, but potentially in the entire Lackawanna Conference. Offensively, the Raiders also have some players capable of producing. The first one is Haley Champagne, returns after hitting .303 with 10 hits and 10 RBIs, providing a solid bat last year in the lineup, and someone who could help drive in runs. Another key offensive contributor is Paisaki Shaki, who hit .306 last season with 11 hits, giving Blue Ridge another player who can create scoring opportunities. One of the biggest bats in the lineup last year was Haley Carpenetti, who hit an impressive .488 with 21 hits, showing she can make a major impact both at the plate and in the circle. Blue Ridge will also look for players like Bloomer, who hit .333 and 18 RBIs to help provide additional offensive production. One area the Raiders will likely focus on improving this season is defense. Last year, the team finished with a .854 fielding percentage. So tightening up things defensively could help them win some close games. But with returning talent and a healthy pitching staff, Blue Ridge could be a team that makes things interesting this season. So don't count them out. These players to watch and keep an eye on during the season is Haley Carpenetti, Haley Champagne, and Paisaki. Again, some of the first names, I'm not going to say if I don't know them. Carpenetti is the biggest name to watch. When healthy, she can dominate games both as a pitcher and as a hitter. After batting .488 last season, she has the ability to change the game in multiple ways. Champagne is another important player to watch because of her ability to contribute offensively and provide leadership for the team. And Chucky, I hope I'm saying that name right. If not, I apologize. Shaki, probably butchered it. It's okay. I'll try to learn as the season goes on. Give the Raiders another reliable bat who can help keep the lineup moving and create scoring opportunities. So Blue Ridge is a team that could absolutely make some noise this season if Carpenetti stays healthy in the circle and the offense continues to improve around players like Champagne, Paisaki, the Raiders could find themselves climbing the conference standings. My prediction is that the Raiders will compete for a playoff spot and could be one of the most dangerous teams late in the season, especially if their pitching becomes more consistent. That's why the Raiders come in at the number 7 in the Agape Freedom Sports preseason countdown. Coming in at our number 6 spot in the Agape Freedom Sports preseason rankings is the Abington Heights Lady Comets. The Comets are coming off another strong season in 2025, where they finished with a 19-3 overall record and 7-1 in conference play, providing once again that Abington remains one of the most competitive softball programs in District 2. Their season ended in a tough loss matchup against North Pocono Lady Trojans in the District 2 championship game, a game that showed just how close the Comets were to capturing the District 2 title. One of the biggest strengths for Abington last season was their offense. As a team, the Comets hit .39, scored 201 runs, and collected 201 hits, showing the ability to produce runs throughout the lineup. One of the key hit returners is Conrad, who had an outstanding season hitting .33 and 26 hits and 24 RBIs. Conrad not only brings big-time production to the lineup, but she also enters the season as one of the primary players in the area after committing to Syracuse University this past fall. That kind of commitment says a lot about her talent, her work ethic, the type of teammate she is, and what she could bring to the table, and the level of respect she has earned. Another important player and returner is Wilmot, who hit .41 with 25 hits and 14 RBIs last season for the Lady Comets, giving the Comets another reliable hitter this season. Brister also returns after a strong season, hitting .38 with 20 hits and 17 RBIs last year, providing another consistent bat in the lineup. Kane adds additional offense step after batting .364, helping keep the lineup balanced. However, Abington Heights will have to replace one of its biggest stars from last season, which was their pitcher, Stalika. So we're going to see how Abington could replace her. I'm sure they will be just fine. That means other players need to step up and fill in those holes. In the circle, Conrad could take on an even larger role this year after posting an impressive 0.86 earned run average, but she had limited innings last year, showing she has the ability to keep opposite hitters under control. I would imagine maybe she'll be a pitcher this year, I would think. I'm not sure they're going to have her, but I would assume. Defensively, the Comets were solid last year, finishing with a .964 fielding average, showing they can make plays and limit mistakes. That is why the Abington Heights Lady Comets enters the season at number 6 in the Agape Freedom Sports preseason rankings. They lost a major piece from last year, but they still have enough talent to remain a dangerous team. So watch out for the Abington Heights Comets this coming year. And that is our number 16. Are you ready for a top 5 of a top 10 countdown? Coming in our number 5 spot on the Agape Freedom Sports preseason rankings, it's the Dunmore Lady Bucks. The Bucks is one of the more interesting teams heading into the 2026 season. Last year, Dunmore finished 12-9 overall and 7-6 in conference play, showing flashes of a strong softball throughout the season. While the record may not jump off the page compared to some teams in the conference in the area, Dunmore proved they have players capable of making big impacts and keeping games competitive. Offensively, one of the biggest players to watch is Wash, the pitcher. Wash had a tremendous season at the plate, hitting .518 with 29 hits and 24 RBIs. Anytime you have a hitter batting over 500, that player instantly becomes one of the most dangerous bats in the conference. And only very few players did that last season. Another important contributor is Archon Rainey. And I hope I pronounced her name right. Most likely I didn't. Entry Rainey, who hit .64 with 24 hits and 16 RBIs, giving Dunmore another reliable offensive piece who can help drive in runs. McGowan also had a strong season offensively, hitting a .369 with 24 hits and 12 RBIs, adding another consistent bat in the lineup. Hope I said her name right. Probably didn't, and I apologize for all this. One of the youngest players who could become important contributor this season is Far. .339 last season as a freshman, collecting 19 hits and 13 RBIs, and could take a big step forward with more experience this season. In the circle, Dunmore will rely heavily on Rennie, who logged 73 innings last season with 94 strikeouts, showing the ability to keep hitters off balance and control games. I'm going to try to, some of these games, I'm going to try to reach out to your parents or relatives or somebody, hopefully sometime during the season, and I could try to pronounce the names right. And I apologize again. They also received pitching help from Wash, who recorded 73 strikeouts in 55 innings, giving the Bucks another arm that could help share the workload in the circle. One area Dunmore want to improve this season is defense. Last year, the team finished with a .866 fielding average, so tightening up defense could make a big difference in close games. Now, players who watch is Wash, Antirani, and Farr. Wash is the biggest offensive threat, returning after hitting .518 last season, driving in 24 runs. She's also the type of player who could change the game with one swing. Anchirini will be another key piece because she contributes both at the plate and in the circle. Her ability to pitch and hit makes her one of the most valuable players on the roster. And Farr could be a breakout player this season. After hitting .339 as a freshman, she has the potential to become a major offensive contributor as she gains more experience. What's my prediction? Dunmore is a team that could surprise a lot of people this year. They have a new coach, and I expect them to kind of be one of the top teams in the area. If the Bucks could get strong production from their returning hitters and solid pitching, they could absolutely climb in the conference standings. My prediction is that Dunmore will compete for a playoff spot and finish somewhere in the middle of the conference standings with the potential to pull off a few big wins against higher-ranked teams. That's possible, but I doubt it just because some teams they may not play, but some of the top teams, the higher-ranked teams, they're better in the area. That's why the Bucks came in at number 5 in our Agape Freedom Sports preseason countdown, and it's number 5, the Dunmore Lady Bucks. I'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors again. Our sponsors is Andy's Pizza, on Main Street in Peckford, Pennsylvania. Thank you, Andy's, for being a sponsor and partnering with us. I also would like to thank Tasty Freeze, an ice cream place up on Scranton Carbonate Highway in Ironing, Pennsylvania. So check out Tasty Freeze. They have the best ice cream, and there's a miniature golf course. So again, I would like to thank our sponsors for partnering with us. Without you, we couldn't do this podcast. So we're going to move on to our number 4. Coming out on number 4 team, and Agape Freedom Sports preseason rankings is the Mid-Valley Lady Spartan Nuts. The Spartan Nuts are coming off a tremendous 2025 season where they finished 22-4, and they ended up playing in the conference championship against the Holy Cross Lady Crusaders, but they lost the game in 10 innings. It was a great game. I was there. They went on to go 14-2 in conference play and made an impressive run all the way to BIAA state semifinals. That kind of postseason success shows just how strong this program has become. Need a drink. Mid-Valley has built a reputation in District 2 as a team that competes year after year. And once again, they return enough talent to remain a series contender. In 2023, they won the 2023 BIAA state championships. So they're a good team, a great program. You never count them out. Last season, the Spartan Nuts were one of the most dangerous offensive teams in the area and defensive teams in the area, that's for sure. As a team, they hit .370, scoring 263 runs with 244 hits, showing just how deep and productive their lineup is. One of the biggest returners this season is Mackey, who had a strong year at the plate, hitting .431 with 31 hits. Mackey provides experience and consistency at the plate and will likely be one of the offensive leaders for this team this year. Another key returner is Bennett, who also had an excellent offensive season last year. Bennett hit a .431 with 31 hits and 22 RBIs, providing she can produce runs and be a major part of the Spartan Nuts lineup. Mid-Valley also returns Freen, who contributed solid production last season, hitting a .304 and 14 hits and 13 RBIs, giving the Spartan Nuts another experienced bat in the lineup. But perhaps the most important returning player for the Mid-Valley Spartan Nuts this year is going to be junior Hazelton in the circle. She's a junior. This last game is Hazelton. So, Ava Hazelton. Hazelton had a dominant season last year, finishing a 22-4 as a pitcher with a 1.44 ERA, incredible 226 strikeouts, and over 141 innings pitched. When you have a pitcher with that kind of production returning, you're always going to be a team to watch and competing for a playoff spot or District 2 championship win. However, Mid-Valley will have to replace some major pieces from last year's state semifinal team. The Spartan Nuts graduated several key contributors, including Larson, Cortazar, and Adolphson, players who had a big role in last season's offensive success. Replacing that kind of production will be one of the biggest challenges for Mid-Valley heading into the 2026 season. But the good news for the Spartan Nuts is that they have several younger players coming up through the program as a freshman who could make a big difference this year. Those younger players will have the ability to step in larger roles and help fill in some of the gaps by graduation. Those younger players love quickly. The returning core contributes to perform. Mid-Valley has all the pieces they need to stay among the top teams in the conference. That's why the Spartan Nuts starts as the number 4 ranked team in Agape Freedom Countdown. Now, some players who watch this year on the Spartan Nuts is Hazelton, Mackey, and Bennett. Hazelton will once again be the centerpiece of this team with the 226 strikeouts and 22 wins last season. She was the most dominant pitcher in the conference. It gives Mid-Valley a chance to win every time she steps in the circle. Mackey is another player to watch because her offensive consistency after batting a .431 last season, and she has the ability to spark the offense, help set the tone at the plate early. Bennett will also be a key part of the lineup, batting .431 with 22 RBIs. She proves she can be a reliable run producer and important bat for the Mid-Valley Spartan Nets. What's my season production for the Mid-Valley Spartan Nets? My season prediction, the biggest question for Mid-Valley this season will be how quickly the younger players can step up and replace the production lost to graduation. But with a proven ace in Hazelton, strong returning hitters, Mackey and Bennett, and few others, a program that knows how to win, and with their head coach, he knows how to win, he knows how to produce players and develop them. The Spartan Nets should once again be one of the top teams in the Lackawanna Conference this year. My prediction is that Mid-Valley will compete for a top 3 spot in the conference standings and make another deep run in the District 2 playoffs. That is possible, but the question is going to be this. Lake Leeming has majority players returning. So I think it's going to be Lake Leeming and Mid-Valley in a District 2 championship. But Mid-Valley has some questions that I'm unsure. It's all going to come down to if the top players could produce. And if those younger players step up and develop quickly, I think Mid-Valley has the possibility of making a deep playoff run. But that's a question mark because Lake Leeming is really good. And last year Mid-Valley did beat Lake Leeming. So, but there's a possibility. But we will see. And that's a number 5 team. That's a number 4 team. Mid-Valley Spartan Nets. Now we're on to a number 3 team. This is the top 3. Coming at number 3 in the Agape Freedom Sports preseason rankings is the Holy Cross Lady Crusaders. The Lady Crusaders are once again one of the most dangerous teams in the Lackawanna Conference. Last season, Holy Cross finished with the outstanding 21-2 overall record and a 14-1 record in conference play. Their only loss during the regular season was against Mid-Valley early on in the season, and then they beat them 2 more times. They made a deep postseason run all the way to the state quarterfinals. That kind of season does not come by accident. Holy Cross remains one of the most premier programs in District 2 because it's a combination of strong pitching, proven hitters, and program culture that expects to win, and because their head coach, Joe Ross, one of the best in the area. And once again, the Crusaders bring back a strong core that gives them every reason to believe they can make another serious run. The big reason Holy Cross starts the season at number 3 is because of the talent returning. They have Grabowski is back after an outstanding season at the plate. Last year, she hit a .550, collected 33 hits, and drove in 29 runs. She proved, she could be one of the most dangerous bats in the lineup and some of the best in the area this year. And somebody who could change a game quickly, as she proved last season, and she has done that. Claire Hurling also returns after putting together a strong season. She hit .415 with 27 hits and 29 RBIs, giving Holy Cross another proven run producer who can come through in key moments. Another player is going to try to pronounce it best I could, and I apologize. Cuchuano Lila. First name's Lila. I do know Holy Cross very well because I covered several of their games last year and different things. And so I have trouble pronounce their name, and apologize. Again, I'm going to try to learn some of these names during the season and do the best I could. Is another important piece returning to the lineup. She hit .427 with 32 hits, showing the consistency and ability to help set the table offensively. The Crusaders also bring back Jules Galala, who had a very productive season of her own. Galala hit .419, finished with 31 hits, and drove in 32 runs. Her production in the middle of the lineup gives Holy Cross another major offensive weapon. Then there is Ava Smith, who may be the biggest returning piece of them all. She was one of the top pitchers of the 2025 and District 2. Schmidt was dominant in the circle last season, going 21-2 with a 1.32 ERA and 178 strikeouts in 138 innings. When you return an ace like that, you enter every game believing you have a chance to win. She gives Holy Cross stability, confidence, and one of the top arms in the area, as I mentioned. And beyond the returning starters, Holy Cross has some younger players coming up who could help strengthen this team even more. That added depth could be important as the season goes on. When you combine a battle-tested ace pitcher, multiple proven hitters, and promising younger talent, it's easy to understand why Holy Cross opens the season as our number 3 team in the Agape Freedom Sports Top 10 Preseason Countdown. This team with the talent to compete with anybody in the conference, and if everybody clicks, the Lady Crusaders could once again be playing deep in the postseason. Some of the players to watch this season for the Cross, the 3 biggest players to watch heading in the 2026 season are Grabowski, Galala, and Schmidt. Grabowski is a player to watch because she is one of the most dangerous returning hitters in the lineup. Any player coming off a .550 batting average demands attention, and she has already shown she could produce in some of the biggest moments. Galala is another player to watch because of her ability to drive in runs and help anchor the offense. And she also plays well on the defense as well on the field. After posting 32 RBIs, she proved that she can be a major difference maker when the Holy Cross needs Crusaders, and the Holy Cross Lady Crusaders need timely hitting. And of course, Schmidt is the biggest player to watch because she impacts the game in the most important way possible. In the circle with 21 wins last season as a junior, 178 strikeouts, she gives Holy Cross Lady Crusaders a true ace and one of the top pitchers in the conference. So there we have it. Number 3, the Lady Crusaders. Are you ready for a number 2 team? Our number 2 team coming at number 2 in the Agape Freedom Sports 2026 Preseason Countdown. It's the North Pocono Lady Trojans. North Pocono is coming off a very strong 2025 season, finishing with a record of 20-5 overall and capturing the District 2 championship win over Abington Heights. The Trojans proved last season they could compete with anyone in District 2, and they did. They carried that momentum in the state playoffs before falling in the second round of the PIAA tournament. That experience could be huge heading into the 2026 season. North Pocono finished with a .365 team batting average last year, 247 hits and 204 runs scored, 177 RBIs. That type of production shows that the Lady Trojans had depth throughout the season. Some of the players that are returning this year is Anna Rascololi, I may have pronounced her name wrong. Apologize if I did. Had one of the best seasons on the team. She finished with a .44 batting average, 32 hits, 26 RBIs, and 10 doubles and 3 home runs. She brings power and consistency to middle of the lineup. And then Riley Grambo, another big offensive contributor with Riley Grambo. She finished with .413 batting average and 31 hits and 22 RBIs. Grambo is one of those players who put the ball in play and create scoring opportunities. Another player is Isabel Foreign. Foreign also had an outstanding season offensively. She hit .411 batting average, 23 hits, 16 RBIs. Her ability to get on base makes her a dangerous player near the top of the lineup. And then last is Olivia Charlers. Another returning player to watch this season is Olivia Charlers. While her offensive numbers were more limited last year, she played strong defense with a .957 fielding average, recording 30 putouts and 14 assists. Charlers gives Napoleon reliable defense presence and could take on a larger role as the Trojan Nets look to build off last year's championship season. But pitching was a key part of Napoleon's success. But Bell, last name, Bell had an impressive season in the circle with a 1.88 ERA and 9 wins. She consistently kept opposing offensive under control and gave the Trojan Nuts a strong chance to win every time she pitched. On defense, Napoleon played excellent. They finished with a .958 team fielding average, showing they are a team that could care off the ball and limit mistakes. That kind of defense becomes extremely important during district and state playoff games. So the outlook heading into the 2026 season, they have a strong core of hitters, a solid pitching staff, experience from a District 2 championship run. That combination makes the Trojans one of the most dangerous teams in District 2. Napoleon proved last year they could win big games, right? That's for sure. Hold on a minute. They could win big games and compete in the postseason. And with many key players returning, they'll once again be one of the biggest challengers in the Lackawanna Conference. That's why the Napoleon Trojan Nuts comes in at number 2 in our Agape Freedom Sports 2016 preseason softball countdown. Are we ready for number 1 team to be announced? What do you think it's going to be? Well, let's go. The number 1 team in our 2026 preseason rankings on Agape Freedom Sports is the Valley View Lady Cougars. As honestly, this one should come as no surprise to anyone. Absolutely not. Valley View is coming off a dominant 2025 season that ended with a Pennsylvania State Championship, and they finished with a 24-2 overall record. They returned most of the core pieces from that championship team. The Cougars bring back 6 starters in the field, along with several of the most dangerous hitters in District 2. And they also bring back Abby Carr, who will probably be one of their starting pitchers this year, and she is heading to play softball for the Clemson Tigers next year. When you combine championship experience, Division I talent, which they have 3 players that have committed to Division I softball teams, And in the lineup, you get a team that just doesn't compete. They expect to win. Last year, Valley View didn't just win games. They controlled games. The Cougars finished with 24-2 overall record, 8-1 in the Lackawanna lead, and ranked top 5 in Pennsylvania. Offensively, they were one of the most explosive teams in the state. Valley View finished with the .420 team batting average, 281 hits, 262 runs scored, and 52 home runs. That's just not good hitting. That's power and depth throughout the entire season. Offensively, they're returning several good hitters and several good fielders. Valley View returns some of the most dangerous hitters in District 2 softball versus Abby Carr, who is committed to Clemson. Abby is one of the top players in Pennsylvania. Last season, she hit .515 batting average, 34 hits, 27 RBIs, and 10 home runs. She's a player who can completely change the momentum of the game with one swing. If Abby stays healthy this season, she will once again be one of the most impactful players, not in just District 2, but potentially in Eastern Pennsylvania. And that's Abby Carr. LS Wingo, she committed to Lee Moore University, Division I school, to play softball. Another Division I level talent she is. In 2025, she produced .449 batting average, 31 hits, and 21 runs scored. She also played third base, and she's returning with the Lady Cougars. Swingo is a player who keep pressure on defenses and consistently get on base. Watch out for her. Another player is Zoe Kupovich, Division I commit. She's committed to Bryant University, and she's an outfielder. Kupovich gives Valley View power and run production in the middle of the lineup. Her season included a .355 batting average, 27 hits, 31 RBIs, and 7 home runs. She's a hitter who thrives when the big moments get big. She has made some big hits last year in the playoffs to help Valley View to win. And there were a few very important and must-needed hits she was part of. Lastly is sophomore, the catcher, Maggie Hallett. Another key contributor is returning. She had a great season last year as a freshman. She finished with .373 batting average, 28 hits, and 18 RBIs. That's pretty impressive. She was one of the top catchers, definitely in northeastern Pennsylvania last year, and as a freshman. And she also had 4 home runs. She plays catcher. And as a catcher, she had a .98 fielding percentage. Defense was another major reason for Valley View. The Cougars finished with a .957 team fielding percentage, providing they play clean and disciplined softball. And with head coach Mia Wiskur at the helm, great coach she is, we would expect Valley View to make another very deep playoff run. And especially because they have players like Krupovich, Hallett, Carr, and others that anchor the defense that really gave opponents extra chances last year. But they did lose some key players from last year. They lost 2 Division I players due to graduation. Callie Kowalski, who's playing at Penn State near the Lions this year, playing softball, and Taylor Carley, who she plays at Bimington Division I school. Both were tremendous, was amazing players and big parts of the Cougars championship run. They are big shoes to fill. So some of the big questions to ask yourself, even with 6 players returning and starters, Valley View will have to replace a few important positions. The Cougars will have to find the right players at first base and shortstop to replace key graduates. If they can fill those holes effectively, this team has a chance to remain one of the top programs in Pennsylvania. So what's my prediction? So heading into the 2026 season, with Valley View returning 6 starters from a state championship team that have 3 Division I commits, they're one of the most dangerous lineups in District 2. Again, if Abby Carr stays healthy, and if the Cougars solidify those open infield spots, I believe Valley View once again is an Eastern Pennsylvania state champion contender. I think they have a shot to make it to the state championships again this season. That's my prediction. And that is why Valley View sits at a number 1 position in a 2026 Agape Freedom Sports Preseason Top 10 Countdown. My name is Jeric Yurkanin, and thank you for listening to us. If you like our work, you like our content, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and also follow us on Spotify and our Facebook page. And this is episode 1, week 1 of our Hail Mary show. Next week, we have some amazing information and stuff where we're going to talk about, again, softball. So definitely thank you for joining us. We definitely appreciate all those who watched the show today. But before I go again, I would like to thank our sponsors for this year is Andy's Pizza on Main Street in Peckville, Pennsylvania. Appreciate your sponsorship and partner with us again. And also Tasty Freeze. We thank you for partner with us again. 2 local businesses. Definitely check them out.
Cougars Cora Castellani hits a double. Abby Call crushes 1 deep to left. That ball is gone. Home run, Valley View 2. Neuro Haley Copanetti wins. Fire strike free. That's her weight strike out of the game. Ava Hazelton dealing today. Another ground out. She's done it. A no-hitter. Holy Cross Savers make it 10 strikeout. Win league championship over Mid-Valley. Lakeland's covering a near steal second. She's safe. Abington's Adriana Conrad rounds the bases after a home run. Wow, what a hit. And Kate Reynolds rips 1 into the gap. She's flying around second, heading for 3rd. Triple for Riverside. Cross the diamonds of North Fifth and Pennsylvania, where Riveries run deep, where championship dreams are built, and the next generation of softball stars rise. This is where the stories are told. From walk-off wins to dominant pitchers, to the players rewriting the record books. From Division I battles with Valley View, Abington Heights, and North Pocono, to Division II powerhouses like Holy Cross and Mid-Valley, to the Division III contenders fighting every inning, Elk Lake, Blue Ridge, Montrose, and beyond. This is the show that brings the energy, the highlights, and the woods of the game. Hosted by Jeric Yurkanin. Quick Paul. Powered by Agape Freedom Media, LLC. This is Napa Chronicle.